So imagine that you have like a really good idea. The idea is that there shouldn't be any money, and there should be no rich and poor, that everybody should be equal. Sounds to you like a brilliant idea. Imagine then if one day you find yourself in power, maybe you seized power, and now you have the opportunity to implement your great idea. And so you go, money is abolished, there are no rich, there are no poor, everybody's equal. Now this was Pol Pot's great idea. His idea also involved everybody in the country becoming peasants. But not surprisingly, there was a lot of opposition to that. The majority of people living in Cambodia didn't support the ideology of Pol Pot or the Khmer Rouge. And so there was, understandably, a lot of resistance. There were teachers and doctors and lawyers and just ordinary people, electrical engineers, train drivers, who said, I don't want to be a peasant. And so you have a choice if you are trying to implement your great idea. You can either go, well, it seemed like a good idea to me at the time, sorry, okay, let's not do it. Or, because you're in power and you have got the police and the army, you force your idea upon people. And so you can drag people off into the countryside and force them to be peasants. And you can take their money away, but this only leads to greater resistance and greater opposition. So then we have to build something like this.
This was a secondary school that the Khmer Rouge turned into a prison. The classrooms were turned into prison cells. They put bars on the windows, they put barbed wire everywhere. People were tortured and then killed. Of the 17,000 people imprisoned here, only 12 people survived.
And so tens of thousands upon tens of thousands of people were murdered and tortured. But Pol Pot became paranoid, and a little bit like Stalin, who also killed lots of his own supporters, Pol Pot suspected his own generals and his own army and his own supporters as being disloyal or trying to overthrow him, and so they were arrested and tortured and executed. And so many of the people who began supporting the Khmer Rouge ended up being its victims. And it wasn't until 1979 when Vietnam invaded and overthrew the government here, and Pol Pot had to flee, and kind of an end to the whole tragic, sad, awful story.